Imagine waking up to the news that the stack of Iraqi dinar notes you've been safely holding for years, the very foundation of your financial dreams, has just been declared worthless. Overnight. No warning, no recourse, just pieces of paper that no bank or government will ever recognize again. This isn't a dystopian fantasy. According to the latest urgent intelligence from Guru Nader, this is the very real, very immediate danger facing a specific segment of dinar holders right now in 2025, and the Central Bank of Iraq is not playing games. The long-anticipated monetary reform, the Delete the Zeros project, is actively moving from theoretical planning to concrete, physical action, and with that transition comes a brutal, unforgiving triage of the currency itself. The shock update isn't just about which notes might be valuable. It's a stark warning about which notes are categorically being phased out, rendered obsolete in the lead-up to the revaluation. Guru Nader's insider sources confirm that the CBI is executing a strategic and deliberate demonetization of the older, larger series notes, specifically targeting those that represent the hyperinflationary era of the economy, the very notes that make the current zeros problem so logistically cumbersome. We are talking about specific series of the 25,000 dinar note, the very workhorse of the current currency, and virtually all of the older, pre-2003 10,000 dinar notes that are still in circulation. These are the primary targets for removal and eventual cancellation. The mechanism for this is twofold. First, a quiet but firm directive to banking institutions to slowly pull these specific series from circulation and send them back to the central bank for destruction. And second, the simultaneous issuance of the new, smaller, security-enhanced currency that lacks the 3 zeros, creating a clear visual and functional distinction between the old money and the new future. This process is not happening in a single, dramatic announcement, but through a controlled, phased withdrawal designed to avoid mass panic while systematically cleansing the monetary system of what they deem to be legacy baggage. The critical, and frankly terrifying, part of this update is that if you are holding one of these designated obsolete series, you will have a strictly limited window, a finite period, to exchange them at an official facility for the new currency, and after that deadline passes, they become collector's items at best, and fireplace kindling at worst. This is the IQD shock update in its most brutal form. It's the fine print that the overly optimistic gurus never want to talk about. The potential for life-changing wealth is absolutely present, but it is predicated on you holding the correct, valid, and recognized currency instruments. The CBI's objective is crystal clear: to simplify the monetary system, reduce physical cash handling, combat counterfeiting, and pave a clean technological runway for a modernized financial sector capable of integrating with the global economy. And they cannot, and will not, do that by carrying every single old note forward into the new era. Your first and most immediate call to action is this: go and physically inspect your dinar notes right now. Do not wait. Do not procrastinate. You need to check the series numbers, the issuance dates, and the security features against the official bulletins from the Central Bank of Iraq. The difference between a generational fortune and a catastrophic loss is literally in the fine print on the paper you are holding.
So, if certain notes are being systematically erased from value, the monumental, life-altering question becomes, which Iraqi dinar denominations are positioned not just to survive this monetary purge, but to absolutely skyrocket in value, making you genuinely rich when the revaluation goes live? According to Guru Nader's exhaustive analysis of the CBI's recent policy shifts and the practical logistics of a global currency reset, the answer points overwhelmingly towards the smaller denominations, specifically the 50, 250, 500, and 1,000 dinar notes. The logic behind this is rooted in the fundamental mechanics of the Delete the Zeros plan and the subsequent exchange process that will follow the official announcement of a new exchange rate. Think of it from the perspective of the Iraqi government and the international financial institutions that will facilitate this. After the RV, the value of the currency will be intentionally and dramatically increased to bring it in line with, or at least much closer to, major world currencies like the US dollar or the euro. If the new post-RV exchange rate is set, for argument's sake, at a 1-to-1 parity with the US dollar, then a single 25,000 dinar note would suddenly be worth $25,000. Now imagine the sheer, unimaginable physical and financial liability of having to honor billions of dollars worth of value stored in these large, single notes. The logistical nightmare for banks, the security risks, and the inflationary pressure from such a massive, instantaneous injection of high-value currency units would be catastrophic. This is precisely why the smaller denominations are the golden keys. A 1,000 dinar note, after a revaluation that deletes 3 zeros, would effectively become a 1 dinar note. But if that new 1 dinar is now worth $1, then your old 1,000 dinar note becomes worth $1,000. The beauty and the profit potential lie in the acquisition cost. You acquired that 1,000 dinar note for a fraction of a cent, and it could become a $1,000 instrument. This principle scales magnificently. A 250 dinar note could become a $250 instrument. These smaller notes represent manageable, distributable, and logistically feasible units of high-value post-RV. They're the lubricant that will make the entire global exchange process run smoothly. The CBI understands that for the public and the world to have confidence in the new currency, the exchange process must be seamless, secure, and practical. Flooding the global market with de facto $1,000 bills in the form of the old 25,000 notes is the opposite of practical. It is a recipe for chaos. Therefore, the intrinsic strategic value shifts to the lower denominations. They become the preferred vehicle for the actual wealth transfer. Guru Nader's intel suggests that the central bank is already, quietly, becoming less interested in replenishing stocks of these smaller notes, a subtle indication of their anticipated future role. They are the sleeper agents in your currency portfolio, the unassuming pieces of paper that hold the densest potential for profit. Your mission, upon hearing this, is to critically assess your holdings. A stack of 1,000 dinar notes may seem insignificant now compared to a single 25,000 note, but in the revalued economy, that stack could be your ticket to financial freedom, while the large note could be a liability. This is the core of the strategic shift you must make immediately. But understanding the theory is only half the battle. The other, more critical half is execution. And this is where Guru Nader's most crucial warning comes into play. The absolute, non-negotiable necessity of verifying the authenticity of your dinar notes before you even think about an exchange. The moment the RV is officially announced, the global financial shadows will erupt with counterfeiters and scammers looking to prey on the hopeful and the unprepared. They have spent years perfecting forgeries of the very notes you are holding, and in the chaotic, euphoric rush of the first days and weeks post-RV, the risk of you accepting, or worse, trying to exchange a fraudulent note, is the single greatest threat to your financial windfall. The consequences are unthinkable. Not only would you lose the entire value of that note, but you could potentially face severe legal repercussions for attempting to pass counterfeit currency during a sovereign monetary event. Therefore, your final and most important preparation step is to become an expert in authenticating your own assets. This goes beyond a simple UV light check. You need to familiarize yourself with the specific, tactile security features of each denomination you hold. The raised intaglio printing on the large numerals, and the main portrait that you can feel with your fingertips, the perfect, seamless registration of the patterns on the front and back when held up to the light, the embedded, metallic security thread that runs through the paper and appears as a solid line on the surface, and the complex, multicolor watermark that is visible only when the note is held at an angle to the light. These are the features the CBI has invested in to protect its currency, and these are the features that the exchange banks will be scrutinizing with industrial-grade machines. Your ability to pre-verify your notes with confidence is what will separate you from the devastated masses who discover too late that their investment was a sophisticated fake. Furthermore, this verification process is intrinsically linked to the first point about phased-out notes. Often, the newer, secure series that are safe from demonetization are the very same ones that contain the most advanced anti-counterfeiting technology. By ensuring you hold the most recent, secure series, you are simultaneously protecting yourself from both obsolescence and fraud. This is the ultimate synthesis of Guru Nader's update. The path to wealth is narrow, defined by holding the right denominations, the smaller, more manageable ones, that are from the correct, current series and are verifiably authentic. There is no room for error here. The Central Bank of Iraq's entire strategy is built on creating a modern, trustworthy currency, and they will have zero tolerance for anything that undermines that goal, including well-meaning but negligent holders of invalid or counterfeit notes. The RV is not a magic wand. It is a rigorous financial process that will reward the diligent, the informed, and the prepared, while ruthlessly weeding out the speculative, the careless, and the uninformed. Your journey, which started with a dream, must now culminate in meticulous, actionable preparation. The information is in your hands. The responsibility to act upon it is now yours and yours alone.